Hey, what's going on, everybody? Back again today, doing another toy nerdy collectible kind of video, talking about a different line of collectible toys, and wanted to do a video on this one because the last two that I've done, quite a lot of the most recent videos I've done have been pretty. They're negative videos, and I mean, not trying to like act like I'm some kind of like big YouTuber or anything, but if you've followed my channel, you know that me as well as my buddy that appears on my channel, we do not shy away from talking negatively about something if we feel like it deserves it. So I'm sorry if you feel that my channel is super negative. We try to just be fair, we try to just, if something is good and there's a lot of positive things to say about it, we say it. But if something's not good and there's pretty much just like a giant amount of negative things to say about it, we don't really. What I'm trying to say is there's that golden rule of like, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. We don't follow that at all. If Because that would just, that's very biased. It's unfair. It's like, we're not just going to praise the good stuff and then keep our mouths shut about the bad stuff. If something's bad, if something's like, if it's just like really lacking in quality, then we're going to talk about it. And because of that, there are a lot of videos on our channel where we're just kind of talking shit on a lot of different things. So today I wanted to do a video where I speak very positively about something, and that is going to be Marvel Legends. My relationship with Marvel Legends goes back to when I was about 16 years old. I had already started collecting a lot of DC stuff. I got into DC first. I was a DC fan first and foremost. But as anyone knows, once you dip your toe into the water of nerddom, like, it just grows. For some people it grows very fast, and next thing you know, like within a year they're into like a dozen different things. Some people it grows much slower. For me, it started really, it was really focused on the superheroes and the comic book type stuff, and I'd been collecting DC stuff for a while. And I started, I was watching videos on YouTube, looking up reviews of different collectibles and figures and toys to buy and collect. And I kept seeing videos for Marvel Legends. And so I kind of looked into them a little bit. And next thing you know, I wanted to buy some, which, I wanted to, kind of read Marvel comics a little bit more as well. I was getting a little bored with DC, so I started doing that. And then eventually I finally just started to collect Marvel Legends. Over the years, I accumulated a pretty good collection of Marvel Legends, and then I believe in like December of 2015, I sold my Marvel Legends collection, and I really regret doing it. But I needed to buy Christmas presents that year, and I needed money. But since then, I've gotten quite a few of them back. And before we go any further in this video, let's take a look. I've got a small video prepared here where we're going to take a look at my Marvel Legends collection. So, up here on the top of the shelf, I got the Onslaught Build-A-Figure from Toy Biz. Looking pretty good. Picture of me with Stan Lee. And then I have the Toy Biz MODOK. A lot of people are saying that, like, oh, I mean, if you get down into the nitty-gritty of it, the new Hasbro MODOK is superior. I guess. I mean, it's a MODOK. MODOK is MODOK, And this is my MCU shelf. I got my Netflix characters over here, and then just a variety of other, MCU-based figures. That Thanos in the back there is a Marvel Select, actually. I will admit to that. And then we get into my comic book style collection of Marvel Legends figures. We got all the main ones, Spider-Man, Iron Man, Captain America, Hulk, Thor. And then we got some lesser known ones, Sentry, Moon Knight, Namor. I need to find a new position for that Namor. He's actually pretty blocked by the Hulk. We got Vision, Daredevil, Elektra, Winter Soldier, Doctor Strange, Iron Fist. And once again, that Thanos back there is a Marvel Select. I just think that they did a better job, both with the movie one and with the comic book one. And then coming down here, we have this weird shelf that's like kind of X-Men, X-Force related. Got got a lot of X-Force characters right there, along with Deadpool, and then it slowly moves over, and you've got Gambit, Rogue, and Wolverine. But also in the back, you got quite a few villains. You got Prowler, Mysterio, Malekith, Doctor Doom, Venom's back there, and then over here on the far side, we have the Fantastic Four in their newer looks, which is fine by me. So that's just a look at my Marvel Legends collection. It's nothing crazy. It's not huge. It was bigger, and that's just what I've built it back up to since I started collecting them again. But I love this toy line, and it is my favorite. It is my favorite toy line to collect, just because quality control is pretty good. The sculpting on the different figures and characters, unless it's like a crazy character like MODOK, they have a Hasbro is the one that makes these, and they have a few different body molds that they choose from, and they have like a big bulky one for a guy that's super huge and strong. They have an average human male build. They have an average female build. They have more slender ones, and they don't give each character that they make their own. They don't sculpt a brand new figure just for a new character. They might sculpt a new head, but that's it. They're going to use a body mold that they already have and just put the appropriate costume on it. That helps to keep costs down, and it also helps to allow them to spend money on other stuff we might like more, like accessories, alternate heads, interchangeable hands, different stuff like that. So that's fine in my opinion. I don't mind them reusing the same body mold. Most successful toy lines we've seen, for collectors anyway, followed that formula. Marvel Legends has done it now. DC Universe Classics was very heavy on it back in the day. Most of those figures, especially all the male characters, they all had the same body pretty much. What else was there? Masters of the Universe Classics, they all share pretty much the same body mold. That's fine, as long as you take the time to do the costume right, their outfit, what they normally wear, give them an appropriate head sculpt to make sure the head looks like that character. The fact that they all share the same body mold it's not really gonna bother you. It shouldn't anyway. It should be pretty hard to tell. If they do the minute details that make each character different when you get down to it, if they do those details right, and they make sure to include those, then you really won't have a problem. You shouldn't have a problem with the bodies being the same. But maybe some people do. I don't know. So they do that when it comes to like the body sculpting with Marvel Legends. They reuse the same molds, but like I said, it's okay. And they are excellent at giving us accessories, different weapons, guns, swords, knives for the characters to hold and pose them with. They're really good at giving us different, like, nice little touches, like alternate heads, like maybe an unmasked version of a character along with the masked version. Something they've started to do recently, I say recently, but it's actually been like a decade now, is interchangeable hands. So for characters like Spider-Man, they'll give him a set of hands like this for when he's crawling on the wall, if you want to pose him like that. Excuse me. They'll give him a set of hands like doing the web swinging, and then they'll also give him a set of fists. So you can just pop the hands on and off and interchange those to pose him however you want him to look. Another thing I've seen them do is for characters who have more like energy-based powers, like Doctor Strange summons like those glowy mystical symbols, they've actually started to include stuff like that as accessories. Like you can kind of like hook it onto his hand, and it looks like he's projecting one of those intricate glowy symbols, magic symbols. Other characters like Human Torch, he's on fire, right? They included a bunch of like flame effects that you could have like on his arms. Storm from X-Men, they included these lightning effects that you could have on her arms, so it looks like she's channeling lightning. They're doing a really, really good job, but they weren't always. So let's go into the history of Marvel Legends here real quick. I actually have to pull it up. forgot I didn't have this ready. I apologize. There it is. So, slideshow from beginning. Alright, Marvel Legends are awesome. So originally Marvel Legends were created by this company. They were produced by this company called Toy Biz. You'll remember if you were a fan of the Lord of the Rings toys back in the day when the movies were coming out, they also did the Lord of the Rings toys. So pretty popular company. And for the most part, looking back on these figures in hindsight, they weren't great. But that's, like I said, that's through the benefit of hindsight. Like, this is the very first Hulk that they ever did. And it's not great compared with a lot of the Hulk figures we have now. But for the time, we're talking like early 2000s, 2002, this was a step up. This was, raising the bar in terms of like collectible action figure, collectible toy products. This was a step above. Here we have a look at the Black Panther and the Bishop. Not all of them were great. We got the infamous Ben Affleck Daredevil figure. Not all of them were great, but it was a step up. And these things were flying off the shelves. They were very hard to get a hold of. Everyone was trying to collect them. So yeah. Go down the road a little bit. Toy Biz ended up, I don't know if they went out of business, they went bankrupt, I don't know what it was, but not Star Wars, Marvel and the rights to make Marvel toys ended up going to Hasbro. Excuse me. And Hasbro had always been known for a while now to be, they were famous for their Star Wars figure line. And if you guys remember, I'm sure you do, Star Wars figures were always rather small. They were like 4 inches tall, maybe a little less. Not very articulated, not very detailed, and that's how Hasbro had handled Star Wars, which was their like premier action figure line for boys at the time, and they'd been doing it for a little while now. And so they tried to apply the same concept to Marvel, and they released the Marvel Universe line. These were 4-inch little figures. They tried to make them articulated and posable, but when something's that small, it just doesn't really work out that well. Some of the bigger characters like Thing, maybe even Thor, Hulk, you could pose them pretty well because they just had enough weight to them to like stand up and hold their position, but the other ones, not so much. So Hasbro really committed to this, they said, fuck Marvel Legends, fuck the 6-inch scale stuff. Let's go to what we normally do with Star Wars, where we're doing a smaller scale figure, and let's really push those hard. And so we got a ton of these, but Legends, the 6-inch figures that had been made popular by Toy Biz, those kind of started to drop off the face of the earth. We still got some here and there, but they were pretty meh. Like, this is an example. There's a Punisher figure. You can just tell that's kind of Daredevil. They're nothing really eye-popping. Definitely a step backwards from what Toy Biz was giving us. Really not that great. And it eventually got to the point where, the only things we were getting in terms of Marvel Legends from Hasbro were these 2-packs. We got maybe like 1 or 2 different 2-packs a year, so a total of like 4 figures every year. And that's the way it was going, and it was on the verge of dying. And then something happened. I believe it was 2010. They decided to do this. This, along with something else that we'll talk about here in a second, totally saved Marvel Legends. The most popular, or one of the most popular figures in the Marvel Legends toy line had always been the Series 6 Deadpool figure. And that figure was super hard to get a hold of, very rare, very expensive online. But everyone talked about it, everyone raved about it. It was probably the most sought after Marvel Legends figure at the time. And then Hasbro released, particularly, it was this 2-pack right here, where it was Deadpool and Warpath. And this was the first time since that really expensive Series 6 Deadpool that collectors had an opportunity to get a Deadpool figure in their collection. And these things sold like hotcakes. These things were flying off the shelves. I can remember back in 2010 going into Toys R Us. They were a Toys R Us exclusive. Going into Toys R Us, multiple times a week, because they always kept saying, oh, we're going to get another shipment on Thursday, or we're going to get another shipment on Tuesday. And I would go in multiple times a week, and they would just never be there because people had always come in and just cleaned them out already. I eventually did get lucky. I went there on, I believe, a Wednesday, and it was there. This one was just sitting there, and I grabbed it, and I was super excited and super happy. Yeah. But these things were super hard to get. Over here you had the variant 2-pack with Warpath in his more classic X-Force outfit and Deadpool in a X-Men outfit. That one was also pretty sought after, but it was this, not even just this 2-pack, it was this figure right here that people were going, collectors specifically, were going crazy over. In this same wave of 2-packs, there was also a Winter Soldier and Black Widow. I believe this was the first time we'd ever gotten a Winter Soldier figure. And people were, they really wanted that one as well. There was a Black Widow out already, but there was not a gray suit, I don't believe, with the variant. So this one sold pretty well as well. And then the final one they released in this wave was a Hulk and Valkyrie 2-pack. The Valkyrie figure was and the Hulk was... It was a slightly above average figure. It wasn't too bad. I remember I had all of these at one point. This was around the time that I started getting into Marvel Legends, so this was all that was in stores. I ended up buying all of these. And it was okay. It wasn't too bad. But this was the... I want to go ahead and say this was probably the one that was the least popular out of the 3 different character selection 2-packs. So these 2-packs really helped show Hasbro that there was still a lot of enthusiasm for the Legends line and the 6-inch scale figures. And then also, like I said, this one was the real one that did it. But also, there was a huge community of Marvel Legends collectors and fans and enthusiasts on YouTube. Just to name a couple of them, there were many more than this, and I don't mean to discredit anyone by not mentioning their name, but just to name a few of them, Shartimus Prime, Boog Nice 10, Solid Snake in My Pants, Sentry Productions. These guys had YouTube channels solely focused around Marvel Legends and just a little bit of toy collecting in general, but at the time it was pretty strictly Marvel Legends. And these guys really helped. Even the ones, like I said, that are not mentioned here in this video, these guys really helped show Hasbro that there was still a lot of enthusiasm for this line of toys and not to give up on it. I can remember the first time I went to San Diego Comic-Con in 2011, I wanted to go to the Hasbro panel at Comic-Con, and I went in there, and all of these guys were there as well. And so we're all sitting in the audience, and up on this, there's a little like a stage area with a table, and up on that stage at the table were people like Dave Vonner, Dwight Stahl, the guys behind the Marvel Legends Toyline, working for Hasbro, and they are addressing Shartimus Prime, Boog Nice, Solid Snake, Sentry Productions. They are addressing all of them in the crowd. When the time came for Q&A, they would address them by their YouTube name, which told me it's like, okay, the people at Hasbro, excuse me, the people at Hasbro, they're clearly watching these people's YouTube videos and they're listening to what they have to say. So it was a combination of that Deadpool 2-pack, but also a huge amount of credit goes to the Marvel Legends YouTube community, who, through their YouTube channels, managed to convey to Hasbro that the majority of enthusiasm for collecting a Marvel toy line is still with Legends, and they should not drop it. They should not give up on it. If anything, they should give up on the Marvel Universe, the smaller scale figures. And they pretty much have, and since then, Marvel Legends in the 6-inch scale have made a huge comeback. Hasbro has made figures of almost every character imaginable, and some of them that like this guy, No idea who that is. They've really dug deep into the roster of Marvel characters, and they're still going strong with the Build-A-Figures. Each one of these figures came with a piece to build this Crimson Dynamo. At least I believe that's who it is, Crimson Dynamo figure. So they're doing great in terms of character variety. Quality control is pretty good, as it's ever been. And accessories, alternate heads, alternate hands. They are absolutely just killing it. Here's a few pictures of some people's Marvel Legends collections, just to show you how much variety there is with the figures. Like I said, like this guy again, this guy. Some of these, like, you just don't even know who these characters are. But that shows you the level of, like, how deep they're digging into the list of Marvel characters out there, and they're giving you everything you could possibly want. Not everything, not just everything you want, everything you could possibly want, everything you could potentially want. This way, and what I love about this is, as I read more Marvel comics, if I come across a character I've never heard of before, and I kind of like that character, I start to think like, oh, this new character I'm reading about, he's pretty good, I like him, and I want to get a figure of him for my collection. Guess what? He's probably already in existence, and I can just go find it. I don't have to sit around and wait for like some of these other toy lines out there that I've mentioned enough on this channel. I'm not going to bring it up anymore. But some of these other toy lines, it's like, man, I really wish I had a figure of that character, but I guess I'll just sit back and wait while they do, more Batman stuff. But anyway, huge amount of character variety, and they're all pretty good figures in terms of quality. Here's just a good look at a lot of different Spider-Man characters they've made. That's not a Marvel Legend. Whoops. Neither is that one. Whoops. But anyway, I mean, you get the idea. Maskless Wolverine, Black Suit Spider-Man, Big Time Spider-Man, Scarlet Spider, Ultimate Green Goblin, Lizard, Venom. So many different figures and different variations of figures. Sam Wilson, Captain America. Yeah, Luke Cage, She-Hulk, Scarlet Witch. That Emma Frost figure is a little wonky, but Vision, Magneto's back there. Just a huge amount of character variety, and they all, for the most part, look pretty damn good. Another look. This is actually a pretty impressive collection display right here. Daredevil, is that Ant-Man or is that the Wasp? I can't tell. Lots of good figures here. X-23 as Wolverine, Black Knight. Really good to set up and display here. This is what I'm fucking talking about, guys. Like, when you want to talk about a comic book superhero toy line, this is what. Look at this variety. Look at all this color. Look at all these amazing characters all together on a shelf in just one really nice epic display. This is what I'm fucking talking about, guys. And any toy line out there that's making a superhero comic book themed toy line and they're not giving us this, I don't know what the fuck they're doing, and I don't know what's going on. I do not know what's going through their heads. Like, why you wouldn't just give us this, I don't know. This is exactly what I want as a collector. I guess other people want different things, and that's fine. But man, I just find it hard to believe that anyone could look at a nice display like this and not think like, yeah, that's pretty badass. That's pretty sweet. I don't know why you wouldn't want something like this. Just a couple more images of different figures. Spider-Gwen, Ultimate Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Ultimate Spider-Man, Peter Parker, the new Hasbro Juggernaut, which is a really nice figure. And then another just really good overall collection. Carnage, well, that's an interesting Carnage. I'm not sure which one that is. Don't even know who this one is or this one. But really nice figures all around. And then one last point to make is, for anyone out there that likes to collect the Star Wars Black Series 6-inch figures, you have Marvel Legends to thank for this toy line. Like I said, Hasbro had always been making Star Wars figures in that smaller scale. They tried to do it with Marvel through the Marvel Legends YouTube community and those 2-packs, they were able to persuade Hasbro that 6-inch was the way to go. So Hasbro went back to 6-inch for Marvel, and it was such a success that they started thinking, hey, maybe we've been ignoring the possibility of doing a 6-inch Star Wars line because we thought the smaller scale was the way to go. But as we can clearly see, the larger scale works for Marvel. Maybe it'll work for Star Wars as well. So they gave it a try, and the Black Series 6-inch Star Wars series has been super successful. So if you're collecting these and you're enjoying collecting these, you have Marvel Legends to thank for this toy line. We would not have this 6-inch Black Series Star Wars line if it wasn't for Marvel Legends. So yeah, that's my take on Marvel Legends as a toy line. I think it's great. I think it's the #1 toy line out there to collect right now. You're getting above average quality. I'm not going to say it's superb quality. They do run into quality control issues from now and again, but it is above average quality. Great character variety. Lots of good accessories, alternate heads, alternate hands. Availability, they are at retail right now, mass market retail, and they are pretty affordable. We're looking at about the same price as a McFarlane's DC Multiverse line. They're about $20 to $25 a pop, but I think they're a superior line to collect. So yeah, take that for what you will. Please, if you liked what you saw here, hit the like button. Check out some of my other videos on my channel. Maybe subscribe. Please do not forget to check us out on Twitch. My Twitch stream channel is the Chad Nerd, just like it's spelled on YouTube. And then my buddy Zach, who's appeared on the channel, his is Graemora, Graemora. He's been doing Resident Evil 8 speed runs on his Twitch streaming channel, and then on Chad Nerd, we've been doing just some Remnant from the Ashes gameplay, and in the future, we're going to probably do a Divinity Original Sin 2 campaign and stream that on Twitch, and a bunch of other stuff is coming soon as well, so please check us out on Twitch, subscribe to the channel if you like, and other than that, I will see you guys next time.